following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for sports and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I'm not sure. Welcome into, there it is, Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao here alongside Mo Patton, Justin Kulik on the controls, and we are live from the Glass House on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, Murphy Center, as tonight, the Blue Raiders get ready, or I guess tonight they're the Black Raiders.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are not the Red Raiders as
no, they're
one
not.
of the commentators on last week's telecast described.
Any color but that one. No. So tonight the Blue Raiders will be taking on Texas San Antonio. The Roadrunners beep beep. See, I got you this morning. I got Mo this afternoon. It's a good day for me. So we are here though as women's basketball getting underway. Practice starting today, and we are here in their presence at a beautiful new court.
Yeah, that's the first time I've had an opportunity to see it, live. Obviously, we've seen pictures, and we're really impressed, but I'm not sure the pictures did it justice with the, the different shades of gray and that kind of thing. It's really nice. And, this team that's on the floor right now, a lot of people have told me that Rick Entel has called this the best team he's had here, and he's not given to that type hyperbole. And this program advanced to the women's NIT semifinals last year, and so he thinks this bunch is better than that bunch. So take heed.
Hey, look, you're not going to get a lot of preseason praise from Rick Ensel. He's going to make you earn it.
Mm-hmm. Apparently they have.
To this point, they've earned it, and I am excited to see this basketball team on the floor next season for sure. Looking forward to a fantastic Friday here. High school football tonight will be out and about across the mid-state here on Main Street. Preps tonight will be a big one right here in Murfreesboro as well. We talked about it yesterday. Oakland and Blackman are going to tilt tonight, and it'll be a huge game as well in Class 6A. And we've got a lot more going on as far as games across the mid-state, and we need to get to that schedule right after we get to yesterday's results, Mo, and we're going to give you today's rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
In high school football action last night, Marshall County shut out Lawrence County 32-0, and also a shutout for Loretto over Summertown 35-0. As Mo was there, you can find a full report on MainStreetMurray.com and MainStreetPreps.com. Mount Juliet 33-22 winners over Station Camp. Riverdale comes back to beat Siegel 21-7. It was Stewart's Creek 42, Rockville 7.
In volleyball action on Thursday, it was Lawrence County shutting out Cannon County 3-0. Summertown with a 3-0 shutout over Columbia Central. Community shutout Giles County 3-0. Hampshire with the 3-0 shutout over Culleoka. Loretto with a pair of shutouts 2-0 over Lexington, Alabama and Wilson, Alabama. Mount Pleasant blanks Santa Fe 3-0. Watertown with the 3-0 win over Westmoreland, and Franklin Classical with the 3-0 win over Zion Christian. So basically, if you won that first set, you were going to win.
You were golden.
You were
the rest
golden.
Of the way.
Absolutely.
Girls soccer action: Battleground Academy 7-1 winners over University School of Nashville. It was Independence 2-1 over Brentwood. Murfreesboro Central 6-0 over Coffee County. It was Columbia Central getting a 3-1 win over Giles County. Cookville 1-0 over Lebanon. Davidson Academy 3-2 over McGavick. Clarksville Northeast and Dixon County played to a 1-1 draw, while CPA and Father Ryan played to a 0-0 draw, and it was Franklin Road Academy shutting out Goodpasture 3-0.
Hume Fogg and Harpeth played to a 2-2 draw. It was Hillwood defeating Hunters Lane 5-1. Huntland with a 4-0 win. Culleoka with a 4-0 win over Huntland. Culleoka remains undefeated, 11-0-2 heading into district tournament play next week. Watertown with a 3-0 win over Jackson County. Scotts Hill in a shootout over Loretto, 7-4. It was Franklin Grace 9, Middle Tennessee Christian nothing. Green Hill with a 4-2 win over Nashville Christian. Nolensville 3, Ensworth nothing. Oakland with a 4-2 win over Rockvale, and Pope Prep 4, Brentwood Academy 1.
It was Portland 6-1 winners over Greenbrier. Providence Christian 7-1 over Davidson Academy. Columbia Academy with a 1-0 win over Richland. It was Rossview 4, Todd County Central of Kentucky 0. Mount Juliet 5-0 winners over Smyrna. It was St. Cecilia Academy defeating DCA 4-2. Station Camp 3-0 over Hendersonville, and Summit 5-1 winners over Warren County.
Sycamore blanked Creekwood 6-0. It was Lawrence County with a 7-0 win over Wayne County. West Creek defeated Montgomery Central 6-1. White House and White House Heritage played to a 1-1 deadlock, and Wilson Central shut out Laverne 6-0. In pro baseball action on Thursday night, it was the Cubs defeating Philadelphia 2-0, and the Marlins with a 4-2 win over Milwaukee.
Tonight, Friday football action. Ezel Harding is at Christian Heritage, Georgia. That is a 6:30 Central start, I believe, 7:30 Eastern. West Creek will be at Beach at 7 o'clock, or all of these 7 o'clock unless otherwise noted. Oakland at Blackman, Independence at Brentwood. Cheatham County at home against White House Heritage, while Brentwood Academy goes to Christian Brothers High School out in Memphis area. Hendersonville will be at Clarksville. Clarksville Academy at home against DCA. Clarksville Northwest at home against Clarksville Northeast. And Columbia Central plays host to Page.
Columbia Academy plays host to Mount Juliet Christian at 7. Also at 7, it's Franklin Road Academy traveling to Christ Presbyterian Academy. Dixon County hosts Laverne. Wayne County goes to Eagleville. Green Hill is at East Nashville, as we discussed with Jamal Stewart yesterday on Coach's Corner. Watertown is at East Robertson. Ensworth hosts Antioch. White House goes to Fairview. Centennial travels to Franklin, and Battleground Academy is at Good Pasture.
Greenbrier hosting Montgomery Central. Charleston County at Harpeth. Hillsboro's at Hunters Lane. Joe Burns at home against Gordonsville. And those steak sandwiches, I bet, are going to be fire. Joe Burns. McGavick's at John Overton. Huge game there. Father Ryan's at Knoxville Catholic. I'm assuming that's a 6 o'clock Central Time start, 7 o'clock local there. Davidson Academy at Lipscomb Academy. Maplewood at home against Jackson County. And the Kings Academy will be at Middle Tennessee Christian.
Franklin Grace goes to Nashville Christian at 7 o'clock. Also at 7, Glencliff is at Pearl County. Montgomery Bell Academy plays at Pope Prep. Kenwood is at Portland. Ravenwood hosts Summit. Mount Pleasant travels to Richland. Gallatin is at Rossview. Shelbyville hosts Lebanon. And Smith County hosts Stratford.
Cane Ridge will be at Smyrna. Springfield at home against Henry County. Nolensville goes to Spring Hill. Sycamore at Stewart County. Hillwood at Tullahoma. Webb School hosting Friendship Christian. Westmoreland's at White Creek. And White County is at Wilson Central.
In girls soccer action this evening, Blackman is at Stewart's Creek at 6 o'clock. Also at 6 o'clock, it's Webb School at Zion Christian. And in Saturday volleyball, Laverne plays Stewart's Creek at 1. Blackman plays Smyrna at 3. Is this a district tournament, maybe?
It very well could be. I don't think I can't imagine it would be this soon, but
maybe. Laverne is at Laverne plays Stewart's Creek at 1. Blackman plays Smyrna at 3. The Laverne Stewart's Creek winner plays Riverdale at 5, and the Blackman Smyrna winner plays Rockvale at 5. Girls soccer action on Saturday. Battleground Academy is at Centennial at 10 a.m. and Beach is at Brentwood at 12 noon.
College football action tonight on CBS Sports Network at 6:30. As we told you earlier, Texas San Antonio at Middle Tennessee State. Lane College is at Tennessee State tomorrow.
That's the John Merritt Classic. It's on campus. It's in the hole at 1 o'clock.
That's
tomorrow.
Okay, that's important information. Yes, that's right. It is at Tennessee State University on ESPN3. Austin P goes to the purple and gray field, striped field of Central Arkansas to take on the Bears. That's a 4 o'clock kick on ESPN Plus. Cumberland will be at the University of the Cumberlands
up in Williamsburg, Kentucky.
At
yes.
6 o'clock. And on Sunday, the Titans are at the Colts noon on Fox 17.
Pro baseball action this weekend. The Reds are at the Cubs. The Marlins are at the Brewers. And the Pirates are at the Cardinals. But none of that matters because the only series that really matters is the New York Mets are at Truist Park for 3 games this weekend against the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves.
Very important. Also tonight, NHL action, Lightning at Predators, 5 o'clock, Bridgestone Arena. That's going to do it for your rundown, brought to you by Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, but also your trusted real estate advisor. Choose chip.net. Wow. All right, Mo, as we continue here, our top story today is right here.
Well, not really right here,
just
right over
outside.
there. Yeah.
But we can see
literally
the press box here at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium through this brand new glass they've got here at the Glass House.
It's pretty impressive.
It really is not. I mean, it was getting a little rough for a while, but obviously folks took notice, and boy, this new glass is just beautiful. So it's a beautiful day for a football game.
Hey, yeah, it's really nice outside right now. I think it's going to still be nice out once the sun goes down. Obviously we both got games that we're going to be at, but this game over here between Middle Tennessee State and Texas San Antonio promises to be a doozy. Obviously, Middle coming off of the big win at Miami this past weekend, and
UTSA took one on the chin, but it took a while to get there. They were up on Texas for a while, and they're the defending CUSA champs. Mm-hmm. So you got to remember that.
Yeah, you do.
It's a good football team,
and so short week. Snap and clear, as a former UT coach would say, I guess. I'll be interested to see how well Middle gets refocused after, arguably the biggest win in program history.
Yeah, I think it is probably arguably the biggest win. Obviously, you've got UTSA coming in here with Frank Harris, who's got 10 touchdowns, 2 picks on the year, 1,300 plus yards. He's been throwing it all over the place. They don't run the ball a whole lot, so you got to make sure that you can slow that passing attack down. He's got a couple of big time receivers. When you look at DeCorian Clark, he's got six touchdown catches on the year, I believe. 417 yards, averaging 15 plus a catch. But then on the other side, Chase Cunningham, who has been nothing short of fantastic for the Blue Raiders this year. 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, 1,000 yards on the dot. That's thrown for 1,000 yards.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Lucky.
But you talk about UTSA's passing attack in particular, but again, Middle's defensive front did a really good job this past weekend down at Miami, and the defensive secondary did as well. So, UTSA's strengths may play right into MTSU's defensive strengths. So, again, expecting this one to be a really good one tonight.
Yeah, Texas San Antonio 11th in the country in passing yards per game right now. That's impressive. Now, rushing yards per game, Middle Tennessee State doesn't run the ball a whole lot either. They're 217th in the country with 100. But the fact is, and Middle Tennessee State has given up just 100 points this season, and that's important. I mean, that's the name of the game. It doesn't matter.
And 44 of those were in their opener at James Madison.
That's right. So I mean, the fact is that Middle Tennessee State has a great chance to win this football game. I don't think there's any question there.
I think they really need to win this football game.
I mean, if you're talking about giving yourself a chance to win the conference, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I just think, with all the attention that they brought upon themselves with the Miami game and the aftermath thereof, you really need to back this up with a victory.
It's hard to lose this one if you're Middle, especially at home. Going to be a big crowd, blackout night here at MTSU. So, yeah, big game coming up. We've got Chris Massaro, who is roaming around here somewhere.
No, he's not roaming. He's right behind you.
Oh, there he is. I can't see over this shoulder because I'm turned a little bit. Chris Massaro, the athletics director here at MTSU, will join us in just a moment. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, live from Murphy Center. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, coming to you live from Murphy Center, the Glass House here on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, as we are looking at the press box of Johnny Red Floyd Stadium, as we told you, and just under all of the fantastic basketball banners that we have here. George Sorrell's retired number 40 there. What a beautiful day. A beautiful place to take in a women's basketball practice too, Mo.
Look up there and check out that 2016 Midwest Regional Round of 32.
Wasn't that your number one upset in all of your top five?
I didn't have room for the 2017 South Regional Round of 32. That was Minnesota there. So the Big Ten is really tired of MTSU basketball, kind of like the ACC is really tired of MTSU football.
There you go. There you go. Well, we are joined now, Mo, by the athletics director here at MTSU, Chris Massaro. Chris, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Yeah, thanks for coming here. It's a treat having you guys on our campus, and thanks for being here. Love going back to those memories of Michigan State and Minnesota. It was a lot of fun.
I'm looking for the there it is, the 82 one. I was actually at that one,
With
Chris.
the Kentucky one?
Yeah, the Kentucky one. I was a senior in high school, and a friend of mine just happened to come up with some tickets, and we went on a whim, and
it was worth it.
We were offered $300 each for our tickets by some Louisville, UK fans that were waiting on that matchup, and we were stupid enough to turn it down, and got to see history instead.
$300
in 82. Yeah.
That'd be like $1,000.
As a high school senior, think of all the things you could have done with that.
None of which I needed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's probably better off.
Yeah, you were better off.
Exactly. Chris, you were saying off air, we were discussing off air. It's been a great week.
It has been a great week. The football beating Miami, it's one of the most storied programs in college football, particularly recent college football. And to go down there and not only beat them, but I think, and Stock alluded to it, the manner in which it happened. We controlled the play from the opening snap to the last snap, and so that was particularly gratifying. So, when you start lining up some of our all-time football victories, and I know there's some good ones against Vanderbilt, and Georgia Tech runs to mind real quick, and Missouri, but this has got to be right on that list as well.
Well, this one's got to be on that list for one thing, because Miami was ranked 25th in the country.
And it's the first time we've ever beaten a ranked opponent. So that was really, that was good. You see your name on the scroll all week long of the games to come, and the score is going to be there too. So you just think about just all the auxiliary media that we've received off of that game, and our marketing and communications office is trying to add all that up, and that's going to take us another week or so. But when you talk about the value of athletics, and then you pull a win like that and what it does for your overall school, I mean, you can't buy that kind of coverage for the school that we received last week.
Absolutely. And, I remember that kind of being a line of discussion again when MTSU beat Michigan State and when MTSU beat Minnesota. Minnesota wasn't quite as big because of the seeding, but Michigan State being seeded number 2 in the Midwest region that year. The talk was, you can't buy that kind of exposure and that kind of thing, and I'm sure that there was a lot of that, not just for the football team, but for the university as a whole here over the last few days.
And there are companies that try to tabulate that for you, and that's what we're in the process now. But it's impossible to really get your arms around when you can do traditional media, okay, particularly the television side and the highlights side. The newspapers all across the country, we were beyond the aggregate, and those kind of things. So what's really difficult is the social media mentions, and all I do know right now is we're trending number 2 nationally on Saturday. And so when that happens, you're either doing something very, very good or something very, very bad. So, so I'm glad that this was a good one.
Yeah. We've talked about it some. I don't know if you're aware. We have Chip on every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just got lucky this week. Exactly. Something like that. One of them. But, we talked about after that win, how important is it to come out and win this one tonight?
I think it's really critical, and it's one of those things that it is our opening conference, and conference always is more important than non-conference. And so they won the conference last year. They're picked to win it this year. So we can make a statement to the entire conference tonight with a win that, hey, that we're here to play. And it's a short week, and that's got me a little bit worried that, we did our best to get their feet on the ground and those kind of things. And I think the way Coach Stock coaches is every week's the same, whether you win by 30 or you lose by 30. He doesn't change a whole lot in his approach to the team, and I think that's going to serve us well. That we have tremendous opportunity tonight. It's a big game. You could argue that this is probably a better football team than maybe the one we played last Saturday. They're really good. And on the flip side, if we don't win, it's our goal in front of us. We can still win the conference, but just make that hill a little steeper. We can really, really help ourselves tonight with a W.
Well, with it being a short week, at least you're at home. You didn't have to travel. They had to travel out here. They had to do things a little bit differently. At least you guys are at home, and that makes a bit of a difference. And not only does it make a difference with it being on Friday night, as far as, the difference in preparation, but you hope that you get a really good crowd with it being a little unique and not having to compete with other colleges, even though you do have to compete with some pretty big high school games tonight in the area.
We got a big one, Oakland at Blackman, and that's a great game as well. So, but yeah, we have a chance to really do something in front of our students. We're at home. We're a good football team at home. I mean, last year we were 5-1 at home. We play well at home, and so San Antonio's beaten us the last 2 years at San Antonio. They haven't been here in a while, So just talking to the players and stuff, there is a feeling like, hey, we owe these guys a little bit of a payback. And so I think that I'd be more worried about a letdown if we were playing a team that we were favored by. We're the underdogs. They're the ones that have won the conference championship. We'll be ready to play, and we'll be mentally right. And I know our coaches will have them right and play a great game. And I'm thinking that's going to be good enough because we're a pretty good football team. So I'm excited to see what happens. I really am.
Speaking with Chris MASSARO, the athletics director here at Middle Tennessee State University on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris, had probably their bingo now when Appalachian State went up to Texas A&M, Marshall went to Notre Dame. They all picked up the checks. You know, they secured the bag, as the kids say, and they also secured the dub. Is those games and this game that you guys just played this past weekend, I mean, is there a little bit more parity now, or to what would you owe those type victories becoming more prevalent, maybe?
You know, and that's a great question, Maurice, and I think it depends on how one defines parity. I think you have separation at the top. There's about 5 or 6 teams that I think have clearly separated themselves, and at least 3 that have clearly separated themselves. And we've seen that the last 3-4 years of that sort of separation. Then I think there's another stratification of maybe 5 through 15, 5 through 20, whatever that number is. And then that stratification of like 25 to 60 or 70, there's not much difference. And if you don't bring your game every week, that you're really vulnerable. And so I do think there's some stratification. I think the easy lines to draw are what the media typically do with Group of 5 and Power 5 and those kind of things. And one of the things I've always said, just because you're in a Power 5 conference doesn't make you a Power 5 school, you know, and I think there's a big line of distinction there, and there is a lot of stratification inside these leagues. There's a big difference between what Clemson accomplishes lately and what Georgia Tech and Boston College are accomplishing lately.
Or your old school.
Yes.
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. I mean, there's a big difference between what they're able to do and what Alabama's able to do. So I think that we get too lost in some of these labels sometimes, because App State, I mean, they've been good the last 4 or 5 years. And so it shouldn't surprise anybody if they go triple overtime against North Carolina and they have a chance to go into Texas A&M and win. There are some good athletes. There are some pro football players out on that field tonight that'll be playing in the NFL. And if you look past that, if you're playing us or San Antonio and you look past that and read your press clippings and get sleepwalking a little bit, that which I think maybe perhaps Miami was a tad, then you're vulnerable. And so I always was, one of my favorite sayings is arrogance is the greatest equalizer in sports. And I think you see that every now and then in college football, and that helps explain some of these results that you think are a little out of character.
Well, and announcement of the 12 team taken with these Power 5 schools, because look, the fact is, we all know that Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State are in a class of their own, but they're twice as good as the next teams in their own conferences. It doesn't matter whether it's Group of 5 or Power 5. It's just, it shows that the Group of 5 teams, the better Group of 5 teams, deserve to be in that
conversation when we're looking at results like what state of Minnesota to provide football with those same kind of opportunities, and that will happen. I don't know what kind of frequency, but it will happen. You look at Cincinnati last year and they got into the playoff. That was a really good football team. Now, and I thought they hung in there pretty well. I'm trying to remember, was it Alabama that they played? And they hung in there as well as anybody else has in the semifinal against Alabama. So there are teams that can rise to the occasion. And what excites me about the expansion is it takes 6 conference champions. And it doesn't say that it has to be out of these leagues. So, for instance, if the Pac-12 champion's not as good as the pick a Mountain West Conference champion, then they get selected prior to the Pac-12. I think the other thing that I like about this that nobody's really talked about, let's say, for argument's sake, Southern Cal is undefeated that particular year, and they're playing Utah that might be a 4-win Utah team in the championship game. Utah wins. Well, their champion's not going to be ranked very high, so they're not going to necessarily get that automatic 6, and so there could be two leagues out of the group of 5 that are better champions or ranked higher than necessarily the Pac-12 or the Big 12 or some of these other champions. So there are upsets that happen in those in the league, in the conference championship games, and that will impact, because it says pretty specifically right now, as I understand it, 6 champions. Not the 6 best teams out of those conferences, but the 6 champions. So if Ohio State gets upset by Minnesota, and Minnesota's a 3 or 4 loss team, how highly ranked will they be? So I'm curious to see if that filters all the way down to the bracket. But that's the way I read it right now, and I think that's an interesting twist that gives us a chance. At the same time, we could be undefeated all the way through and be highly ranked, and then you get popped in your championship game, and it could hurt you. So that sword does swing both ways. But I think that's what makes tournaments and championship play so exciting. When those blades do go both ways, I think that creates great conversation. It's fun. It provides personality to the tournament. I think that if you look back at the CFP right now, that one of the criticisms is maybe it doesn't have personality. Well, how does it get personality? Well, home games to start off with in the first rounds, upsets, people that don't maybe are maybe the hot team at the right time, that maybe don't have the record that can push their way through. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that'll be nothing but great for college football when it goes to 12.
Chris Massaro, Athletics Director here at Middle Tennessee State, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris, obviously, the reason we came last week, I think it was Matt Insel, associate head coach of the Lady Raiders, that posted on Facebook that they would be holding an open practice today, and I reposted it, and my partner in crime over here says, and I knew what he was thinking, because we like to take our show on the road when we can.
We do.
So the opportunity
makes it such a good show.
Well, thank you. Can we might need to get that in writing or put that out. But yeah, we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about these Lady Raiders that are practicing behind us, advanced to the women's NIT semifinals last year, and their coach, who doesn't say it often, expects them to be even better this time around.
Yeah, and he's only won 400 collegiate games.
He
so
might
I'm not
know a little
sure.
something.
Yeah, and he's in 7 Hall of Fames. You can turn around, and you guys have seen the assembly of talent we have. We're big, we're fast. Play. And the one thing that gives me great comfort is I know they're going to be well coached. I mean, sometimes when you have a talented team and you kind of wonder, like, will they stay together, and will they play team ball, and will they get divided, and and you start seeing those fractures, and that's never happened. We got a coach that's experienced all kinds. He's had the most talented teams. He's had some teams that maybe haven't been as talented as others, and no matter what, he molds them and wins. And so I'm really confident we're going to have a great women's basketball season. So I hope fans come out and really come to this.
I'm excited. I think they look really good. And, Mo, we are in the vast minority of sports talk analysts and all of these, but we are big women's basketball
fans. I love
huge women's basketball fans, and you can bet we'll be in the glass house at some point this season.
And I'll tell you, for me, it really started literally right here, because I transferred here my sophomore year, and Larry Joe Inman was here, and they were bringing Georgia in here with Andy Landers. They were bringing Ole Miss in here. What's going on?
Well, we do have Louisville coming in here, and so that'll be great. It's a little bit easier on the women's side still, but it doesn't happen every time they get new TV contracts. There's less and less incentive for them to go on the road. So it's going to become more difficult with the latest iteration of all these TV contracts. But women's basketball still will do it a little bit. Men's basketball is getting like football, where it's really hard. And also I think people know that they're going to come here, they're going to play a good RPI game with Coach Insel, and it's going to me it's a perfect test for one of those type schools before they enter their conference play, to come in here and get tested on the road. And if you lose, I mean, it's not going to kill you, and if you win, that's a heck of a win and gives you a lot of momentum.
Chris Massaro, Athletics Director, MTSU. Chris, thank you for taking time with us today. We appreciate it. This has been fun.
Thank you guys for coming. Basketball practice, and
let's do that. You got an extra goalpost somewhere?
Yeah, we'll find them somewhere. We don't play for a couple of weeks, so we'll find them somewhere. Those are happy problems.
There you go.
Thank you so much, man.
Take care, guys.
Appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
I appreciate you.
We're going to take a quick break here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Southeastern Football Conference. They've got quite a few games this weekend. We'll get to all of that, and we'll take a look around to Braves baseball, and, of course, give you our picks for the top 10 games in college football this weekend against the spread. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Today. We'll be right back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Hey, welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you live from the Glass House Murphy Center here on the campus of MTSU, Middle Tennessee State, as Rick Insel has his Lady Raiders practicing in the background and doing a fine job. We get a chance to look at them during the breaks, and boy, this is a really good-looking basketball team, and I'm looking forward to seeing this upcoming season.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch, and as Chris was saying, their talent is such that they can play a lot of different styles of play and be successful at them. And that versatility is always a good thing as well, because it's tough to prepare for.
There you go. Got several games in the Southeastern Conference this weekend. South Carolina's already disposed of South Carolina State 50-10 last night. Big win for former Tennessee grad assistant Shane Beamer. That's what we're going to call him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's one way to introduce him, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, they needed that win. I mean, just to get some confidence after the last couple of weeks. But we have a couple other games that will be in our pick'em. Kentucky, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas, both will be in the pick'em. But 3 o'clock afternoon game on SEC Network. You can see number 17 Texas A&M at Mississippi State. Clinga. What?
It won't be that quiet.
No, it will not. And so, obviously Texas A&M is used to playing in SEC environments, but Mississippi State is a little different. It's a different breed because, one, it's small, but as Jimmy Dickens once said, I'm little, but I'm loud. And it can get real loud inside Davis Wade.
That's a perfect analogy for Mississippi State. I mean, yeah, it can get pretty rowdy down there. And I think it's an underrated type of environment. When you talk about SEC environments, you talk about Tiger Stadium, you talk about Neyland Stadium, you talk about the Swamp. Mississippi State doesn't necessarily come up, but it can be pretty uncomfortable down there, especially when they are having some success.
So I saw this on on Twitter or something, TikTok maybe. If you were starting a college football program, what city would you want to start it in? And I think Starkville would be on my short list.
If you were starting a college football program,
yes.
What city would you want to start it in?
Based off of what you know as far as game day experience, stuff like that, fandom.
Game day experience, fandom, attention. I mean, you're the only game in town, literally.
They barely got a 5A high school.
You don't have to you really don't have to compete with a whole lot of other colleges. You don't have to compete with pro franchises. And I think that applies to a lot of the SEC towns. Perhaps not Athens, it's too close to Atlanta. Perhaps not Baton Rouge, too close to New Orleans. Obviously not Nashville. But, I think that's kind of what has made SEC football what it is the fact that so many of them don't have to deal with a whole lot of other. They don't have divided allegiances necessarily. So
no, absolutely, because I mean, if you're gonna spend your money on live sporting entertainment, you're gonna do it at the local college. And Starkville, I think, would just be on my short list.
Sure,
it absolutely would.
Makes sense.
This would be a big game for Mike Leach and the boys. as they like to call them. And I think it's a huge game for Jimbo Fisher. They need to keep winning.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got a really big one last week. Again, they beat the team that we thought, if not Alabama. And so, of course, Arkansas helped them.
Arkansas helped them a lot.
But A&M took advantage.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, but yeah, this would be another big one, and it's on the road, obviously, which makes it even bigger. I mean, I think SEC road wins are. It's kind of like a sounds manager once told me: 2 out base hits get you to heaven. I think SEC road wins kind of send you in that direction as well. So, yeah, this is big for Jimbo and A&M, I think.
ESPN night game: LSU at Auburn. LSU, Auburn is struggling right now, and LSU could certainly make things more difficult for Brian Harsin and his crew if they can get more difficult.
A home loss, yeah, they can get more difficult. I think they can almost
be a relief. It might relieve some things.
I think it could almost make things untenable for Brian Harsin if they were to lose to this LSU team that, I think the jury's still out on how good they are. And certainly the jury's still out on how good Auburn is, even at 3-1, as Nebias Wilburn pointed out to us when we spoke with him this week.
That blew my mind.
What, that they're 3-1?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to listen to everything that's going on, everything coming out of there, you kind of lose sight of that fact.
You feel like they're 1-3 with losses to Texas State or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, what if Auburn was to lose to Appalachian State at home?
Oh, it'd be over. Yeah. I think they very well could lose to Western Kentucky at home. Just before Alabama. Could you imagine that?
Can you get tarmacked at home?
Yeah, I guess you can.
They grab you before you go into the post-game locker room, Brian.
But you don't even need to go in there and talk.
Don't go talk to them.
If you do, you've got to answer questions about you being fired.
Yeah. So,
SEC night game: Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik, and the gang. Georgia at Missouri.
Oh, goodness
this is brutal.
gracious.
This is the only chance. Okay, and I heard somebody say this the other day. This is the reason the SEC network is putting Georgia on there is because they're the biggest brand. LSU Auburn is probably the more competitive game for SEC, Saturday night. But anytime you can get the number one team in the country on your broadcast, you're going to do it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Missouri is trying to come up with COVID.
I did read the other day, TSSAA has had no COVID games this year, which I guess is great. But yeah, Missouri.
Yeah, there might be a breakout in Como here in the next 12 hours. I mean, if I could come up with a way to avoid that game, I would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because Georgia's going to name their score. Brock Bowers is going to rush for another touchdown.
Especially after last week and how poorly they played against Kent State. Practice was not easy for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and they're looking for somebody to take it out on. and I think they found them.
This ain't the place to be if you're Missouri. This is not the place to be.
And if you're not safe at home, where are you safe?
Nowhere.
I mean,
nowhere.
You saw 50-10 last night? You don't think Georgia's looking at that? Oh, okay. All right. They beat South Carolina State by 40. How much can we beat Missouri by?
Jeez.
It's going to be ugly.
It is.
Yeah.
And finally, Sunday, 11 a.m. on SEC Network.
What is that about?
Ivan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Eastern Washington at Florida. Florida looking for somebody to take it out on. Take out some frustrations. We'll see what Anthony Richardson has for the Eagles.
Redfield can't save you, Eastern.
That's right. There will be no Redfields here.
No.
Yeah, I think this one is going to be a big win for Florida. They need to get back on track and they need to feel good about it. And I think they will, especially when you look at their schedule going forward. They've got Missouri and LSU before they get Georgia, so they've got a stretch here. They can really, give themselves some confidence going forward into that Georgia game, even though they've got to go to Athens and then to Texas A&M. I think it's important for them to get these 2 wins or 3 wins.
Florida is one of 2 teams that are 0-2 in conference play.
Yeah, but looking at this schedule, they absolutely could go 3-9. I'm sorry, not 3-9, 9-3. Not, you know what I meant.
No.
Scratch that, reverse it, Gene Wilder style.
Yeah, yeah. And there's some talent there. I just think it's a matter of them getting on the same page and Billy Napier getting on the same page and revising his 2-point conversion card.
That's rough. Thank God that he can't math.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank God he can't math. That's all I'm saying. he was me. I was told there would be no math.
No. There didn't have to be, is the thing.
No, just do what you do.
Yeah.
Just do what you do. You didn't even have to look at the scoreboard. But yeah, they've got Eastern Washington, Missouri, and LSU all at home. Then they go to Georgia and Texas A&M, and depending on what Texas A&M does against Alabama the week before, Alabama tends to break people. So you've got, and then South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Florida State are all winnable football games. I mean, you're talking about a team that could very well be at the end of the season 9-3, and at worst 8-4.
And in his first year,
you'll take that after last year's debacle.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, we took 8-4 and ran
with it.
So
thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's take a quick break here, Justin. And when we come back, we'll talk a little Braves this weekend. We've talked about it as much as we can possibly talk about it, but it is important to just make sure that we are fully aware of the stakes that are ahead of us in Braves country. So stick around here on Main Street Sports Show, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
You are looking live at the court here in Glass House. As you see, man, what a beautiful, beautiful shot of that brand new court. You've got the beautiful blue, the dark gray-ish. It actually, so in this video, Mo, it kind of looks like a normal colored court, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It is a gray court.
Yeah.
Here it looks yellow. He moved off.
Yeah.
It looks like a normal basketball court.
That's goodness.
But it is not. It is a good looking court, though. I love the outline of the state of Tennessee. It's just good stuff. So well done to the folks at MTSU for doing that and taking care of that. Mo, it is time to talk about the Atlanta Braves. The matchup predictor has gone down. It's now 51% in favor of the Braves.
What changed?
I guess the lineup, I don't know. Ronald Acuna Jr. will be leading off, playing right field. Dansby Swanson in the 6th hole, playing batting second. Michael Harris II will hit third, playing center field. Austin Riley backing him up at third base. Then Matt Olson in the batting 6th. Darno at 7 behind the plate. Contreras behind him, DHing, and Rosario in left, and Arcia at second base.
You can win with that lineup, and you probably should. You need to. MLB put out a graphic at MLB.
I saw that.
Mets Braves potential 3-game series outcomes, and everyone should probably print this out as a primer so that you can keep up with what goes on. And if then, as you love so much, a Mets sweep clinches the NL East for the Mets. If the Mets win 2 of 3, then they lead by 2 games and would clinch. That would make their magic number 1 as they go into their 3-game series against the Nationals, and the Braves take on the Marlins in Miami. A Brave sweep would give the Braves a 2-game lead and make their magic number 1. And if the Braves win 2 of 3, then the 2 teams would be tied going into their final series, and the Mets would hold the tiebreaker for the NL East.
For the season series?
Mm-hmm. So, a Brave sweep.
That's pretty much that's it. I mean, unless the Mets met against the
Nationals, which
could happen.
It certainly could happen, but I would certainly not want to have to count on that.
Try to control your own destiny.
Yeah, folks. Absolutely.
So, tonight the Mets are favored. They're favored in Vegas. Over-under is 6.5 runs with Jacob deGrom and Max Fried. 6.5. You taking the over or the under?
Ooh. I almost think for the Braves to win, it's kind of got to be the over.
You don't think they can win 3-2 in this one?
I don't.
I don't think so either.
I don't. I don't think they can win 3-2 or 4-2. I almost think it's got to be like 5-3. Maybe something like that.
You think they got to score 5 runs to win?
Yeah,
I can see that
because I mean, as good as the Braves' offense can be, it's also a little inconsistent, as we saw Wednesday night. I think the Mets' offense has been a little bit more consistent here of late than the Braves have been, and again, we talked about DeGrom kind of getting knocked around a little bit out in Oakland. I don't know if you can count on him having 2 outings like that in a row.
Well, I think he's had 2 outings like that in a row. That's the problem. You certainly can't expect 3. So in the last 10 games, the Braves are 6-4, hitting .249 with a 2.7 ERA. The Mets are 7-3, hitting .259 with a 4.35 ERA. They've outscored their opponents by 18 runs. They've been putting up numbers, putting up offense. I think
Max has got to be big tonight.
Listen, you have to win this game. This is if there is a must-win game in the history of sports, this is must-win.
This one, yeah, because
that doesn't win a series or something like that.
The next, as we talked about the ESPN probabilities and that kind of thing yesterday, the next two games are not as favorable for you if you're Atlanta.
Despite having 20-5 Kyle Wright. If you had told me 20 years ago, 20-5 Kyle Wright's going to the bump, you feel like, oh, that's an automatic win. Because you don't have all these analytics and whips and all that, this, that, and the other. Which I'm glad we do. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm not necessarily sure that I am.
I'm just less. I'm less confident because of it.
Well, you know more.
Yeah, you just know, and sometimes knowledge is not power.
There you go.
When you're trying to be a fan, anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't need to know all that. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the best. Is this the biggest regular season series in a decade?
Oh yeah,
asks David Schoenfield.
I think it's certainly a good question, and I'd say, I mean, I cannot remember a bigger regular season series than this, where it all came down to, the last week of the season and everything.
And again, I wouldn't even care. And like you said on Facebook, or I think you got to beat both of them anyway. You got to beat the Mets and the Dodgers.
I was wrong, because if you would miss one of them, if you're the number two.
Oh no, yeah. If you're the number two, you would.
Yeah. So,
but if this were 5-10 years ago, where it was just you were the 4 seed because you were the wild card, and all you had to do was win the DS, win the CS, and go to the championship, I wouldn't even care if we won the series.
Right.
But that first round, the 3 games before, makes this a huge. So you have to win the division, it feels like, and I'm up. That's what gets me here. But here's the thing, buddy of mine that told me, he said, I'd rather play the Dodgers in a 5-game series and only have to beat them 3 times than have to beat them 4 with this rotation. And I don't disagree with that.
But also your margin of error is smaller.
It is.
Because they have to beat you either 3 or 4 times.
But when you're thinking about
the
Braves matchups pitching-wise, you would feel comfortable going into Game 5 with Max Fried with a chance to win it, no matter who he's facing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I thought, well, you're not necessarily wrong there. I don't hate. The only problem is the 3 games before that screws your pitching matchups up. Where do you go?
Sure.
Can Bryce Elder give you a start?
Yes. Can and should.
Absolutely. I think without him, the pitching rotation is a problem. With him,
it's less of a problem.
It's much less of a problem.
Yeah.
If you can,
in fact, I'm almost thinking he should go ahead of Morton at this point. He should be your number 4.
No, I mean, I think you throw him in right now.
You think he's
at 3 because Strider's still out.
They will reactivate Strider.
My point is, he needs to start one of those 3 games in the wild card series if he can. Because if you can go into that series
with Strider,
and throw Morton and Elder and get wins, you have completely changed the game.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Now, whether you can do that is, it depends on who you're facing. I mean, do we even know who the possible matchup is? I mean, you're talking about the 4. What is it? 4 or 5?
No, I don't know that it's set yet. Yeah, it would be 4. If the Braves would be the 4 in a wild card, they would play the 5.
It's not set right now because
it's either the Brewers or Phillies, I guess. Right?
And
because San Diego is going to be 6, is that?
San Diego is going to be 5th. So you get San Diego, I guess.
I'll take that.
And they've not been very good lately.
No, there's nothing about San Diego that says, oh my God.
45 and 36 on the road. But other than that, yeah. And Juan Soto's been terrible. They don't have Tatis. Machado has been so-so. Their pitching staff isn't anything to write home about.
No.
Yeah. I feel like Bryce Elder can give you an opportunity to win. If you win, I think you try to win the first game and then you throw Elder in game 2 to see if you can get out of there with because I think you may throw Strider in game 1 just to get him back out there. Then you come back with Elder if you win in game 2 and try to get out of there with Morton, Wright. Fried and Wright not having pitched at all.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Anyway, we're looking way ahead because this weekend is if you sweep this weekend, it doesn't matter. None of that's throw that out the window.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm for it.
Especially Saturday night.
No matter what, you got to win Saturday.
Got to win Saturday.
That's why I'm not going to any of these games because I don't see us win very often.
Dude, I would be so disappointed if we go down there tomorrow and they get beat.
Well,
I will be despondent, literally. I might not even do the show Monday.
The ride home would just be
man,
sickening.
Yes.
So. All right, let's take a break. Justin, this day in Braves history, then we'll take a break.
September 30th, 1969, scoring a pair of seventh-inning runs on a Tony Gonzalez RBI single and a Rico Carty sacrifice fly. Atlanta rallied for a 3-2 win over visiting Cincinnati and clinched the first National League West Division title. Phil Niekro pitched 7 innings for the win, with Hoyt Wilhelm throwing 2 shutout frames to earn the save.
Of course, Niekro won.
Of course.
He was the only pitcher they had from
Warren Spahn, Phil Niekro. Yeah.
Then just handed it off.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Now we'll take that short break. When we come back, college football pick'em against the spread coming your way right after this.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Final segment of the week. It's a Friday. All right, Justin, we're gonna let you pick these games too. So you're gonna be on the big zeros. You get your 0-0 coming in, but that's always good.
That's true.
Yes. So. All right, here we go. Let's see. I don't have our records. I do have one record. My ESPN Fantasy Pick'em, I'm 27-12 on the year with a rank of 110th in the country. Now, full disclosure, anyone who's listened to this show last year during college football pick'em, I'm using the formula by which JP killed us in pick'em last year. And clearly he'd be kicking our butts again if he were picking that way. So here we go.
Okay, so I can tell you that I was 7-3 last week, and you were 5-5.
Okay, and I think we actually were tied coming out of the last week because you were 7-3 and I was 6-4 2 weeks ago.
And then
so now you're 2 games up.
So last week.
Hello, everybody.
Last week I was 7-3. No, you were 7-3 last week. I'm sorry.
You can go ahead and put me down for a perfect record if you don't mind.
And I was 5-5.
Oh, so I'm 2 games up.
Yeah.
Dang. You better be glad Florida scored again. It would have been really bad.
Yeah, I would have. You're right.
Well,
of course, I did almost put the entire game in jeopardy with that, but hey, it all worked out.
You got any tunes you can play in the background behind us here? Just give us a little love. Okay. That's fine. Sure. Sounds good. All right, we start Michigan at Iowa. Iowa, 15.5-point home dogs, 11 a.m. on Fox.
Who goes first?
15.5-point dogs.
Right.
Hey,
that's our time, folks. Thanks for coming.
That's all time we got for you today.
Yep. You ain't got to go home.
I'm going to go.
You can't stay here.
Iowa has been awful, folks. Awful all year long. But Kinnick Stadium is a tough place to play. I think I got to go Michigan here, but man.
You're going Michigan to cover 15.5?
It's a lot of points.
That's a lot.
But they're supposed to be like the number 3 team in the country or whatever. So.
Oh, switching it up. Okay. I got a little bit better.
That's a lot of points, man. I'm not that in on Michigan. I'm taking Iowa.
All right. Justin?
I'm going to go. No, Iowa, you're right. Everything you said was correct, Chris. So I'm going to also go with you. Michigan to cover 15.5. Seems like a lot, but
it is a lot.
2 touchdowns and a field goal, baby. 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
Okay, I know how you get there.
That Iowa defense is good. So that's going to be a problem, but we'll see. All right, Kentucky at Ole Miss. Kentucky at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, 6.5-point favorite. 8th ranked Kentucky. 14th ranked Ole Miss. 11 a.m. ESPN.
Kentucky at Ole Miss, you say, and Ole Miss is a 6.5-point favorite at home.
And Lane Kiffin is dog cussing his fans. So,
really, I missed that.
You say his fans?
Yeah, the Ole Miss fans. He's talking trash about.
What, are they sitting on their hands or something?
Well, either that or not. Or they'd rather be tailgating in the Grove than be at the ball game. I mean, he's going hard on them.
Well,
so
I mean, they'll be where they need to be when they need to be there Saturday, I think.
Going to call upon them, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Maybe he's trying to motivate them.
That would motivate me if
to throw golf balls and mustard balls at
from your own fans.
Huh? Yeah. Kentucky at Ole Miss, 6.5 for Ole Miss. What you got? I'm going to go Ole Miss.
You know what? I think Kentucky's underrated, and I don't like Kentucky, but I think they're underrated.
Okay, so are you taking?
They're underrated at 8?
You're taking Kentucky?
Well, I mean, their ranking is fine, but I always believe that people think that they're going to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to go Kentucky.
I think they're going to lose, and I think they're going to lose by more than a touchdown. I'm taking Ole Miss.
I think Lane Kiffin gets too cute with it. That's just I
won't disagree with that.
You know?
But, not at all.
I mean, he's not Todd Downing, but yeah.
That's true. Yeah, seriously. Just do a jet sweep.
Yeah. To the tight end.
Yeah, exactly. With no blockers on that side.
Oklahoma at TCU. TCU 6.5 dogs at home, 11 a.m. on ABC.
TCU is a 6.5 point dog.
Yes.
At home
against Oklahoma, coming off that loss.
That might not be enough. I think Oklahoma is really going to be pissed off Saturday.
That's exactly what I think. That's exactly what I think.
There's no way they're not, right? Like, I mean, this practice had to be run. Hopefully.
And here's the thing. You've got,
So
TCU first-year coach, they're not ready.
So this is Oklahoma across the board.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
Purdue at Minnesota, 11 a.m. ESPN2. Minnesota is not a 10.5 point. I'm sorry, this is wrong. They are a 10.5 point favorite.
Minnesota is a 10.5 point favorite
over Purdue. This graphic is not correct. Sorry about that. Minnesota is favored at home against Purdue.
The Golden Gophers.
What does the graphic say?
Plus 10.5.
Oh.
If it's plus 10.5, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but even at minus 10.5, I just think Minnesota's just too good. Purdue's got option. They've got a great quarterback. They've got the best wide receiver in the country.
They're just not clutch.
But I think Minnesota's just too good.
I think Purdue is better than they played to this point, but Minnesota. Yeah, I'm going with the Gophers.
I think I'm going to go Purdue. I mean, I know they never come in and finish the game off.
They only got to lose by less than 10
against the spread, though.
Yeah, they can. I
like Purdue.
They can lose by 10 and you win. So
I like Purdue. They'll play it close. They won't win, but they might get the spread.
You've got the Gophers.
I've got the Gophers as well. Yes.
Boilermakers, where you at?
Buller up.
Buller up.
Yeah.
Texas Tech at Kansas State. Kansas State coming off that big win. Texas Tech
coming off a big win.
Oh wow, this is going to be a rowdy game.
Kansas State 7.5 point favorites.
What's Texas
at
Tech
home?
It's not.
They are the
Gig'em?
No, they're Wreckham.
Is it Wreckham?
Pat Mahomes tweeted it.
Guns up.
They do. I think Guns Up and Wreckham are both of theirs.
Okay. All right. And I don't think K-State has a catchphrase.
Yeah, it's like we're happy to be here.
That is their catchphrase. We're just here so we don't get fined.
Yeah. Man.
Well, that's a tough one. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
I don't want to drink the K-State Kool-Aid after they beat Oklahoma in Norman last week, but man, that's pretty strong. And I'm just going to cheer how good Texas is, so I'm not sure how big that win that is for Texas Tech. I'm going with K-State.
Ooh, K-State. All right, okay. You want me to go?
I've got Texas Tech.
I do as well. I was going to go Texas Tech. I just couldn't.
7.5. It's just too much.
Right. And like I said, I think K-State's going to be pumped to be there, and I think Texas Tech wants to go on a rampage.
This is on ESPN Plus, by the way. It's not even on TV.
I think that K-State coach is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Adrian Martinez has something to prove.
That's huge, yeah.
And I don't think Oklahoma is going to be the last team to lose to K-State.
Well, okay, all right.
Definitely not. So. Here's a good one. Utah at home against Oregon State. Oregon State covered against USC last week.
Man.
1 o'clock Pac-12 network, which means we probably can't see it. But Utah, a 10.5 point favorite over the Beavs.
You know, I can every single time I bet against OSU, I lose. So I'm going Oregon State.
There you go.
I am going Oregon State, and I'm not changing my mind.
It happens that way sometimes.
They always run my parlay.
Fool me 3 times, shame on you.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. I'm riding with them.
I'm going to go Beavs, too. I just think, Utah is struggling to kind of cement themselves right now. Mm-hmm. And Oregon State, I mean, I know they were in Corvallis last week, I know, but USC is a good football team. And they played right there with them the entire time. So I'm going to go with the Beavs, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Beavers is my mom's maiden name.
I am going to go with Oregon State to cover. I think Utah wins a game. I just don't think they win by 10.5.
I can dig it.
All right, this is the one I think we're going to spend the most time on. Alabama at Arkansas. Arkansas, again, the graphic is wrong. Jeez.
Good Lord, dude.
I was doing this.
Who does
in
these graphics?
I was doing
math, though,
I was
too.
doing this in a very, very hurried amount of time this morning, right after our show. So
Right.
It was a struggle. Anyway, Arkansas 16.5-point dogs at home to the Tide. 16.5.
That's
To Alabama, though? I mean, that's
but it's
grocery
Arkansas.
shopping. That's true. They're playing good. They're playing
And Arkansas coming off a tough loss last week again. I think they're going to be motivated.
Motivated.
But then I think Nick Saban looks forward to teams that think they have something to do.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I mean, if it was 13 or 14, I'd feel a lot better about taking Alabama. But 16.5, I'm taking Arkansas.
Ooh. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, I've got Arkansas as well. I think 16.5 is way too much.
Hey,
I think they can win this game. I think if they don't win this game, it's going to be close. At 16.5, far too many points.
Yeah.
I just always think back to those third and fourth quarter touchdowns that Alabama gets towards the end of garbage time. So I got to go Alabama here. They'll be winning, and then they'll think the game's over, and they'll just throw streaks.
Pull away. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next, we have Wake Forest at Florida State. Florida State 6.5-point favorites.
Didn't Wake Forest either almost win or win something?
They lost
last week.
They lost in overtime.
Lost in overtime to
Clemson.
Clemson, that's right.
51-45. What was the number, Chris?
6.5. Florida State favored.
Florida State by 6.5. Clemson was at Wake, right?
It was.
Okay, Wake is at Doak Campbell.
And thank you for playing.
It
never gets old.
I don't think Florida State is better than Clemson, but I do think the home field is a factor. I think if this game was at Wake, I would take the Demon Deacons as a 6.5-point dog. But I think I got to rock with the Seminoles here.
All right. Two, I'm going to go Seminoles.
Man, I'm going to go against the grain here. I think Wake Forest is going to put up some good numbers. They're going to build off last week, and I think they're going to win outright.
Okay.
Well,
I wouldn't.
There's my bold prediction.
I don't know how bold it is, to be honest. But yeah,
I mean, they're the defending champions of the ACC, whatever that means. That sounded a lot like the William Contreras somehow comment, but not bad. Wasn't trying to throw shade at Wake Forest. NC State at Clemson, 6:30 ABC.
I'm sorry, say that again.
NC State at Clemson, 6:30 ABC. Clemson 6.5-point favorites at home against the Wolfpack, who beat them last year when I told you they were going to beat them last year.
They going to do it this year?
I'm gonna go Wolfpack here, but I think Clemson is much better than they were last year.
And they're mad. They're super,
Yeah, listen, DJU has certainly turned a corner. He has turned a corner. I don't know that he has put Clemson into the top 5 in my mind, but I think he's good enough to win ACC football games now, but I'm still going to go NC State.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Somebody on this show picked NC State to win the ACC.
That's right, you did. But
somebody on
Miami.
this show picked Miami to win the ACC.
Good thing MTSU isn't in the ACC is all I got to say.
I was gonna say, we probably shouldn't yell over
All
Miami.
their goals are still in front of them,
They
right?
are.
Yeah.
That didn't mean nothing.
But I think if you're going to win the Atlantic Coast Conference, you have to beat Clemson.
Yep.
So I'm taking NC State.
I'm gonna go Clemson here. I know I'm going opposite of all, but I I think that Clemson's going to be
playing the role of Emily Spears. Is
hey,
Justin Kulik.
Either I'm gonna be on top next week, or y'all are gonna be killing me.
And finally, noon on Sunday, SMU at UCF. Same thing here. This is an Ivan game. UCF with John Rice Plumlee running the Gus Malzahn offense.
A close one.
Taking on SMU at home, 3.5-point favorites.
UCF's 3.5.
UCF 3.5.
I'll go ahead and say, and I'm going to ride the Pony Express on this one.
Ooh.
I'm going to ride the Pony Express.
You just wanted to say that.
I did. That's exactly right.
That's the only reason you picked this. You're like, I just want to ride. This is a tough one.
It's so close. I honestly haven't
It's
seen
basically a pick 'em because you get 3 points to get at home.
Exactly.
Who did UCF play last week? Georgia Tech?
No, but whoever it was, they won.
It was a good game, if I remember right.
Hold on, I'll tell you in just 30 seconds. They played.
Calling Google.
Oh, yeah, it was Georgia Tech. 27.
And they won.
Yeah.
27 what?
Yeah. I'm taking UCF. I mean, I think that SMU is better than Georgia Tech, but I think UCF is better than maybe some folks realize.
All right. For those of you who would like to know what I'm picking on the ESPN Fantasy app, where currently sits at 27-12 on the year, 34% of the country going with Iowa, so I'm going with Iowa there. 30% of the country with Ole Miss. 25% of the country with TCU.
25, okay.
26% of the country going Purdue. 37% going Kansas State. 38% going with Oregon State. Alabama, Arkansas was within the 10-point range, so 53% of the country picking Arkansas. I went with Arkansas as well. 31% of the country taking Florida State to cover. 45% of the country taking NC State to cover. And I flipped here. 81% of the country going with UCF. I picked UCF.
Wow. So you said, wait, did you say 53% for the Alabama game?
Yes, 53% of the country is picking Arkansas to cover the 16.5 points.
Okay, all right. I like that. People are finally standing up to Saban. I like it.
Folks, pickers are standing up to Saban. Teams aren't necessarily.
Somebody's got to.
Well, we are once again here at the Glass House on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. Men's basketball now getting ready to take the floor. And Mo, it's been a fantastic time here in Murfreesboro, as it always is.
Really enjoyed getting to sit down with Chris Massaro. He was great. Knew he would be. A lot of fun. Yeah, it's always fun to be back in my old stomping grounds. So,
where you have seen a lot of great concerts, Mo.
I have, and so most of them for free, actually, because I was working stage crew.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Justin, just get on the stage crew, and you can see all the concerts for free.
You can can see all the concerts and get paid for it.
Right. Not only is it for free, but you get paid to be there.
Exactly.
That's the best part. So
really cool.
Looks like the game day crew and staff are making their way inside here at Murphy Center to get ready to usher folks to their seats inside of Johnny Red Floyd Stadium.
Yeah. We need to figure out who we need to know to get a blackout T-shirt before we get out of here.
I was going to say, should I go?
Maybe we should ask Chris while he was here.
I'm gonna put this I'm gonna put my orange Tennessee shirt in the bag.
Man, I'm so glad you didn't have that on when Chris was with us.
Well, it's hot in here. I was burning up. So anyway, if you didn't know, I was married. Hubby established in 2019.
Sarah appreciated you wearing that.
It's out there now.
Married to the game.
In case y'all weren't aware.
Too late now.
But no, we appreciate you guys being with us, and thank you to Chris Massaro and the folks here at MTSU who have been so accommodating. I wish we knew her name. We don't, but she was the MVP.
We did not have power when we first got here, y'all, and one of the facilities folks went and got a couple of extension cords. Otherwise, we might have gone off about 2:45.
Yeah, so. Who knows? But keep up with us tonight at @MoPatton_sports. He will be at Page Columbia Central.
Correct.
I will be at Mount Pleasant Richland at Chris Yao 14. Justin will be at home asleep.
Yes.
Well deserved.
Pre-counting the money I'm going to spend on all that pick'ems I just won.
Okay. Seriously, Main Street Preps, and of course Friday Night Live. Wherever you're getting all of these shows, you can get those as well. We appreciate you guys being with us. Thank you so much. And I guess that's it for us. I got nothing else. So
you got nothing else?
For Justin Kulik, I'm Chris Yao. Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.